even as the NFL tears my favorite holiday away from my cold, still alive hands, I do want to take some time to be grateful today. Because yesterday I saw an alternate universe where everything was worse. I saw an alternate universe where the NFL developed a draft lottery and everything from that point on crumbled into nothingness. Can you imagine and really think about the year we have had covering the Kansas City Chiefs, that you, dear voyeurs, had watching the Kansas City Chiefs and the media who covers them? Think about what would happen if right after Tom Brady left New England, the Patriots rose way up the draft to land the top quarterback of that year's class. Imagine what would happen after Patrick Mahomes retires in the year 2069 if the Chiefs suddenly were way, way, way above their typical draft slot, and they made, maybe you see a team make a confusing trade. Maybe a big name gets moved and you go, wow, what an absolute coinkydink that is. What a strange occurrence. And then a couple of months later, the NFL draft lottery comes around and that poor downtrodden franchise just gets handed, let's say, Arch Manning. It is bad. I want everyone to remember, just in general, things are pretty bad. But last night was a pretty good reminder it could always be worse. Everybody's favorite time of the year, schedule release week, where yes, we have 2 of the 18 games that the Chiefs will play now officially sharpied, 18 weeks, I should say, 17 games, and the bye still TBD. And I mean, we have exactly what Nate reported like 2 months ago, and then tomorrow they're going to milk it throughout the entire day. And then at the end of that, we'll have a schedule that then they'll play starting in September. Fellas, can you feel the electricity? Are you not jacked up for the number of ways the schedule is going to be tantrically leaked out on top of us in the next 48 hours?
Tantrically leaked out on top of us.
You heard me?
I did.
That's what the NFL's doing. They are tantrically leaking on us.
What's really funny, like, I live and breathe Chiefs football. It's my job. And also I love it. But like, I am a hardcore, kind of schedule agnostic. Mm-hmm. And that's where I get that. I get the content that it provides the opportunity for. I appreciate stuff during the doldrums of the offseason. But I can't get past the fact that we already know who they're playing.
Right.
And then, it's ooh.
Well, when are they playing, Seth?
And it's not it'd be different. Let's say if Jazz texts me and says, I am going to give you a kiss, but I'm not going to tell you when. That would be kind of because it could happen at any moment. Who knows? I could be in the middle of a hearing and then boom, assaulted by my wife, right?
Man, your analogies are you gotta get you back to camp, man. We need a hard reset. We gotta unplug you and plug you back in.
I'll bring it around. But
I'm not sure you will.
or not. Who knows? Who knows? I'm as excited as you to find out if I'll bring it around. But there's set times that the games could be. There's no mystery here. It's or to do the other side of things, when you don't know when a bad thing might happen, you're just on your toes, you're just not sure, or the anticipation of a nice surprise, but you don't know what'll happen. The thing with the games, we know who they're playing. They generally know when it's home and when, who's home and who's away. And so all you're really hearing is either noon or 3 or maybe 7, or maybe sometimes Monday. I don't know.
Or in fairness, and sometimes Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In the Chiefs case last year. But
I think and that's the one thing is with the Chiefs, we know they're going to have a bunch of primetime games.
Yep.
Because
six. They will have 6 to start the season. It could obviously you could be elevated to a 7th or an 8th under unusual circumstances.
is that are you reporting that? Is that new or
Yes.
did we already know that? Wow.
No, I mean, again, guys,
I love how casually you do that.
Thank you. I'm on paternity leave, so I haven't written a single word in months, and these hands are made to change diapers. So,
can I just point out the glory of the fact that these hands is a meme from when we were Times R's and we were asked about surviving like a death match.
Yes.
And that whole these hands thing is still such a funny comment. Anyway, go ahead. 6 games?
You want me to be part of what? The 998th guy against a gorilla? Oh no. These hands, they can't do anything to the gorilla. Nothing, okay? Now you want me to chronicle? I can do that.
The first man died. The second man died. The third man died horribly.
Yeah, so I haven't typed anything on a computer lately for your reading consumption. But to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, they're gonna have 6 primetime games. Is my understanding. We do know one of them because I reported that. After a couple weeks, couple months ago.
3 years ago, it feels. Like.
I love Fast Lou. All games on Peacock. Yes. Yeah, so they're gonna, I think, hey, it's nice to see YouTube TV in the mix. It's nice to see YouTube.
Just YouTube.
Well, it's YouTube on behalf of YouTube TV,
right?
Which is the thing that gets kind of confusing, I should say. But yeah, they're gonna have probably 6 primetime games. I think ESPN is gonna have 2, similar to what they had last year, if my memory is correct. Based on everything I remember, because again, some of this stuff I've known for a while now. I told you about Christmas. Christmas is happening. That's a primetime game. And then yes, based on the flex potential, once you get past like Thanksgiving, there's a chance for them to have another primetime game or 2 as well.
Seth, are you excited to get to spend your Christmas with Bo Penix?
Oh man, this is not going to go well. I kind of like the Christmas game. Now here's the thing. It doesn't affect me personally, which maybe I've been telling you guys for years. I am not a good person. I am a grace-filled person. One would like to think. Yes. But I'm not that nice a guy. And so like I feel for Nate because like you've got to like leave the house. Whereas for me, it's like, oh no. Oh, guys, I've really enjoyed this small talk. And I love my family and I love Jazz's side of the family. We're almost always with Jazz's side of the family Christmas Day. Yeah. And we're with my side of the family Christmas Eve.
Yeah, really soften this one, bud. Go ahead. Really take the air out of this one.
But I really just don't.
Dumbass is raising his own guillotine blade right now. Yeah, Seth, go ahead. How much?
I don't mind.
Seth, by 7:15 on Christmas, are you going to be able to stomach your dumb family?
No, and that's the thing.
Boy, yeah.
So I'm not like a real extrovert. I love being loud and being around people, but after a few hours, I'm like, man, I'm tired.
I'd like to unwind with the Chiefs playing on Christmas night.
Or a divisional game of importance. Yeah.
Yeah.
As we get down to the playoff race. Of course.
Gives me something fun to do. And I could like hang out with my kids as they have presents, but they're getting kind of old.
It gives you something fun to do on Christmas?
They have the Christmas story on loop.
Are you doing like a Dwight Schrute Christmas? Are you out there like harvesting beets or something? What is wrong with you?
We have so much fun on Christmas. I just really like football, guys. And so I just kind of enjoy it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the right opinion.
Yeah. Hey,
I need someone to send me a screenshot of me grinning and explaining myself as Josh looks at me. And it's like, they're puppies, but if you skin 101 of them, you can make a great coat. Like, it's just awful.
Would you like to, once again, tantrically just have one football game every day of the year? Teams are just kind of rotating through. There's football 365 days a year.
I mean,
we get close. It's 272 games, I believe.
Expand a couple of teams. We can make this happen for you, Seth. If you hate your family that much,
I just kind of like it. And then I like on Sunday, I can just like you know, I can go to church and do our thing as a family, and I've got my Sunday afternoon free. Like, I don't know.
Go to church on Sunday after desecrating Christmas Day.
Exactly.
The day our Lord and Savior was born. Yeah.
Definitely December 25th. Let me tell you.
The two things
in a barn too.
Yeah,
not a cave.
Yeah. When we go out to the yard. Two things, Josh. The first thing I told my wife today at lunch was, I was like, hey dear, obviously Holly, hey, I got some good news and I got some not so good news.
Oh yeah.
And of course Holly was like, what's the not so good news? And I said, well, as you know, they're gonna play on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is you won't be in a hotel room in Pittsburgh this year.
There you go.
Next year, you will probably be in a hotel room somewhere.
Right.
But this year, you're probably fine. That's the other thing, Seth. This isn't another cute little one-off of, the Chiefs are playing on Christmas. How adorable.
Every year, guys.
They'll just get to dog walk Aiden O'Connell. Surely that's going to be okay. Now it's every year until we die, we're going to watch the Chiefs on Christmas. And I'll tell you what, the less Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are involved, the sadder that's going to get.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? Like, if the world will even be here in 20 years. Like,
with this attitude,
come on.
Let's just get what we can while the getting's good. You know, like maybe I gotta come down if the game's at Arrowhead.
It's gonna be international on Christmas Day.
Just to spite Nate.
Yes.
Oh, it's 1,000,000%. And it's gonna be in some country that doesn't actually celebrate Christmas.
Christmas, right?
Like,
yeah.
I don't know what countries those are, but they're out there, I'm sure. So I understand. I get why you're annoyed. And honestly, I don't have a good reason for it because I love Christmas. I love spending time with my family, but I also just love watching Chiefs games. And I'm like, it's kind of like on Friends when Joey was asked to choose between one thing and a big tub of jam. And he said, put your hands together. Let's do both. Why can't I have both? Why can't I have Christmas with my family and a Chiefs game and a film review, and I get presents, and I just want everything. Okay, I think we tapped into something here.
You are.
How's your undrafted free agent film review coming, Seth? Are those about done? Where's your Jeffrey Bassa review? Is that out yet? Can I read that yet?
But like
this glutton wants more. He wants to do a film review at midnight on Christmas.
There's just something that hits with
trying to get him to write about Elijah effing Badger in May is impossible.
It's like I'm 30 again when I'm doing this stuff. It's like
only on Christmas though.
Smoking a heater, right? Just smoking a heater, watching film, right at 1:30 a.m. Christmas Day.
I'd have to go a little farther back for those heaters, but yeah. And I'm not saying it makes sense. It's just how
I'm feeling on Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Christmas. I know that would have back-to-back games, but it means more Chiefs football.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must prepare you that in some of my reporting a couple weeks ago, I don't know what was that late March when we were in those ceilings.
Seems about right. Yeah,
at the breakers for the owners meeting. Now I didn't want to say it then because the networks were still competing for all these games. Now we know the networks are unveiling these games in their announcements and upfronts and all those sort of things from a network standpoint. Guys, they played the Cowboys this year. And I'm saying there's a chance.
Hope you're happy, Seth.
I'm saying there's
happy.
I don't know
Family
if it's
man, father of 15. What we've learned here in the 8th year of this podcast, the big reveal is that Seth hates his family as much as his family hates him.
Because I don't think the Thanksgiving games have been announced yet.
No, the Black Friday game has been announced. I think that's all we got in that.
Right, which is Eagles Bears, which fine, whatever. I'm just saying there's a chance, guys. They might get the holy trinity of Friday night international in Brazil, Thanksgiving afternoon against the Cowboys, and Christmas night against the Broncos. I'm just saying it's a greater percentage chance than the Dallas Mavericks somehow getting the bleeping number 1 pick. Okay, and I know my child Noah is probably he was napping, but I cannot stress for you enough, ladies and gentlemen. They had a 1 point what percentage chance of getting a 1.8 chance based on a coin flip because they had a similar record to the Chicago Bulls, I believe, but they also won a game in the play-in, but they get the number 1 pick.
Nate, I mean, the 1.8 thing is cute, but we all know the Mavericks had a 100% chance of getting that pick. They told you it was 1.8% chance because they think we're all bums. They think we're stupid.
Hey, we did a coin flip that nobody saw, but you know who won it?
Secret coin flip.
It's audited by an accounting firm, and as we all know, no accounting firms are ever in on the take for their clients.
Shut up, Seth. You lose your mic privileges.
Hey,
shut up until we get to Jeff Bassa, who you've allegedly watched film of by now.
There's been multiple news reports.
Go chart some snaps.
Yeah, there's been multiple news reports about how our decision to trade away a generational talent before he even reaches his prime, let alone he just took you to the finals, that decision has cost a franchise millions of dollars. That there are people on record, on background, of course, I don't want to get fired, but on background, team employees saying, hey, dog, we can't sell bleep to fans, to corporate sponsors. No one wants us on their television screens because we did this to ourselves. And then, oh, by the way, the league that once again somehow found a way to get Cooper Flagg in a Mavericks jersey. Sure. Cool.
And Seth, you think it's probably great that Cooper Flagg's going to play in Dallas?
Who?
The other piece of news that Nate did allude to there that we haven't said explicitly is that the Chiefs are officially playing in Brazil week 1, Friday, 7:15 Central Time, Chiefs-Chargers. It's a Chargers home game. Yes. So I will say, after I not only just being like so annoyed by the Christmas thing, and again with the fact that this means this is our Christmas for the next decade, and then being so thoroughly betrayed by a former friend of mine, Seth Keysor. I all of that being said, I do, generally speaking, kind of like the international games. I think it's fun. I think having it be someone else's home game is ideal.
Right.
And I think the big win for the Chiefs is that they're playing an international game, the absolute perfect time to play an international game.
Yes.
It is a Friday. So it is, I mean, first of all, it's week 1. So it's the first game you're playing all year. You can plan all off season. You can rest your guys at the end of the preseason. You're going to be as healthy as you're going to have any chance of being. And with it being on a Friday, you're going to be back in Kansas City before most of the league has ever played a game to start this season. So that, to me, Nate, feels like kind of a win-win. It's also not on a beloved holiday, and it's not going to tear families apart. So I think it's great that they're playing in Brazil week 1.
Right. And that's
I don't like it.
And that's why both teams were in favor of it. That's why we reported.
Seth is no longer on the show.
That's
Sorry
why
that you're in the Seth box there, Nate.
No, that's fine. That's why me and my great friend and colleague Daniel Popper reported again at the owners' meetings as to why both teams were in favor of this. Both teams were not, because obviously they played in SoFi Field before, for all the reasons you said, Josh. It also is an intriguing, alluring matchup for TV networks, and now we know that at the time there was some thought that Amazon was going to get this game, but now it turns out to be YouTube TV through YouTube, so it'll be streamed for everyone, which is different than Peacock, which I think was interesting and a little bit more alluring for the league as well. So this is perfect because Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, it all makes sense.
Podcast. Hey Seth, we're doing a podcast. Do you mind, bud? Seth, do you mind? Can you mute yourself before you do a message? Voice message? Yeah, hey Seth, we're doing a podcast though, which
I wasn't. I got sidelined.
We got sidelined.
Go ahead,
yeah, he got put in another dimension. So here's the other thing too about the schedule. When it comes to the Eagles, because we all know that's a Super Bowl rematch, and this is just, I don't know, Tucker, if you want to put this in offseason lessons, because I think the league has learned something based on last year's offseason. He's not going to do it, obviously. But one lesson that the NFL learned is, hey, remember, guys, I told you, Joe Burrow will be out here getting hurt. So you know what they did? They said, week 2, baby. We're going to play these games. And they said, hey, any game that was relevant in the postseason that we might want to have to just get the NFL right, hey, let's give them Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes on opening night. They did that, kids, so that both quarterbacks, along with Patrick Mahomes, would be healthy, so that both teams would be at their competitive best. And I think for similar reasons, you're going to see Chiefs-Eagles very early in the schedule. Now, how early, I'm not particularly sure. And lastly, they might end the year with either the Raiders or the Chargers. So you might go Chargers week 1.
Wow.
16 other games, Chargers to end the season. These are just some of the things I've heard. I haven't seen the schedule yet, so I want to be very clear about that. But just some of the things I've heard, you might get that scenario too, because the NFL wants to end the regular season on divisional games, and that game may have some importance as to who might win the division between the AFC West. Most people think it's either going to be the Chargers or the Chiefs, and it would be. It's not that they haven't done it in the past, but it would be weird for them to put the Broncos on Christmas and then end the season with the Broncos as well. So that's why either the Raiders or the Chargers are likely the team to end the season in Arrowhead for 2025.
Scrooge Kaiser?
Got a text message from Jazz saying, I was leaving her that voice message, and she says, we saw cry laugh emoji. She's with our kids traveling back. She texted back, I want that button.
Oh, man.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jazz, I'll do
no.
whatever I can. Best I can think of right now is, ironically enough, a taser. But I will, I'll try to workshop a real life version of this, because it really is a delight.
Yeah. I love the idea.
Sorry, Seth says he doesn't want to spend Christmas with you and the rest of your guys' family. I thought that was messed up, but I haven't been married for 150 years. I don't have 97 kids.
Yeah. You could take some lessons from me and Jazz.
Let's take a break.
Shop Chiefs tickets and more with no fees. Plus, save big with code KCSN at ticketsforless.com, the official ticket provider of KC Sports Network.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's playoff time, and if you're still just watching games, then you're missing out. With Pick 6 from DraftKings, you can turn your hoops knowledge into real cash. Just make your picks, track your score, and if you hit all 6, you're looking at bigger payouts than Prize Picks Flex Plays. Nobody's dropping better payouts than Pick 6. Hit 6 picks, and that's 25 times your cash. And if you beat your competitor, you could be looking at a 500 times bag in your pocket. And right now, new customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. The playoffs are on, so why not take a shot at making a little money while you're watching? Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks. Better payouts, bigger wins, only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
And that you need to take away from you and really think about her needs in that conversation. And that is the 14th point on how to be a good husband. Oh, hey, we're back. Nate's on the phone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gone.
Is he done yet?
No.
You can keep going.
Yeah. No. Huh?
You know, sometimes, oh my goodness, my family's pulling up right now as we speak. And so now I am no longer texting the love of my life, but I'm waving to her as she sits there in our driveway. She's more excited to see the dog, to be perfectly honest. So that's just how that goes at this point. Anyway, what were we talking about?
You were about to tell us that Jeffrey Bassa is, in fact, Nate, you were gone by the time I got to this last week. But Seth, you were just about to tell us that Jeffrey Bassa is, in fact, Nick Bolton and Justin Reed combined and improved.
So, all right. Let me just say, I am not the omniscient understander of everything ball related, and of all the positions that it can be tough to really project.
Man,
to
even
the next
Hop's
level.
yawning at this intro, dude. The dog just yawned in your face. Listen, everybody, I just want you to know I could be wrong, but I'm
easily
often right.
Easily the best version of our show is when I find a way to annoy Josh early on, and then we just build on it. It's incredible, and there's no feeling like it.
Yeah.
So go ahead. You see the vision or you don't? Which one was it this time?
I guess when I watched his film, I'm 3 games in. I'm going to do the Ohio State playoffs. I see a guy with a role in coverage, but I guess he doesn't really pop. He doesn't pop. And that is not great analysis in the sense of like providing specifics. But anytime I watch someone in terms of trying to project him from college to pros, we talked about this with Norman Lott a little bit.
Yes.
That if I don't see something pop in college film, it makes me question things a little bit. I just don't see, like so someone said he's Adam Sheehan. He's Nick Bolton and Willie Gay's body. Willie Gay weighs like 245, people. That dude's huge.
Hey, you talk about someone who popped in college.
Yeah,
Ooh,
no, Willie Gay's
more
champion
ways
were
than
like,
one did he pop?
you had to like put on sunglasses to watch that because play-by-play, you didn't know what might happen. He might Boucher it, or he might that kid from the Little Giants it. Like you didn't know. So the thing with Bassa, he's generally in the right spot at the right time. I like his instincts in coverage, but man, for a guy that's supposed to be making his mark by being a really sharp football player, I just saw a few times. Come on, don't choke on those comments.
This isn't for you, Seth. The comments aren't for you. Keep talking about this player that's good, or maybe he's not.
For a guy that is so, he kind of makes his bones by being a really smart player. He's a little undersized, so you want him to be more of a coverage guy. He understands run fits, understands the way things set up, understands how routes develop around him.
Okay.
But I just see a little too often a guy that takes the cheese, that they love to say, which he falls for play action and RPO stuff, ends up out of position. Some play fakes, just really, it's like he is way over there. And here, now to be fair, I'm not in the huddle. Maybe Oregon's defense, maybe their coordinator was like, hey, your job, that guy is your guy. Because they did a lot of man coverage stuff with him with running backs. So maybe his job isn't to worry about the fake at all. Could be. But I just saw it a little too often for my liking, and I don't see the commensurate, like, popping athleticism.
I have 2 questions, Seth. 1, does he tackle well?
He does tackle well.
2, is he cerebral?
Oh, so he's just Nick Bolton in Nick Bolton's body.
No, he's Nick Bolton. If Nick Bolton weighed like 15 less pounds and wasn't as strong. No, he's faster than Nick Bolton. But like, I guess I can see why they would be interested in him. He seems cerebral. He made the calls. He's always, yelling and gesturing.
Is he a leader? Is he a leader in the huddle?
I mean, I wouldn't know. He's definitely yelling at people a lot. I'm basing this solely on film, right?
Right.
Man, he's telling people where to go a lot. Is he right? Who's to say? But he seems to have a really good grasp on their defense. That's the type of guy that Spags is psyched about. He's a better athlete than you're normally going to get with that cerebral type guy. For a guy they traded up for, I expected a little more pop. And I always feel bad. I hate doing this because these are people we're talking about, So I always just start feeling like a complete putz because I'm talking about this 21-year-old kid who's better at football than I am at literally anything.
Other than hating Christmas.
I'm very cognizant of that. Yeah. Plus, I hate Christmas, so it's like, whoa. But like,
Clip it.
Yeah, at least we got our thing this year. At least Charles Omenihu's free. Now it's just simply the military and Christmas.
so yeah, and this is where Ronson Trade's comment, and this is what always happens. The minute I say that a player is less than incredible or that I'm not so impressed, Brendan Daly's comments hold way more weight than the guys that question the impact of football IQ. Yes, Brendan Daly's comments really do carry more weight than mine.
Hey,
that's true.
That's true.
However, if I'm asked to analyze, and I mean, I don't know. I guess what I could say is, well, I don't know. What did Brendan Daly say?
Well, here's my addition
for
to
a crappy show, right? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Here to add to your point, Seth, and this is
how
why
many more times can I cut Nate off?
This is important. No, this is fine. I'm trying to back you up here, guys. He's saying that he didn't pop on college film. That matters because the gap between high-level college and the National Football League might as well be between here on Earth and bleeping Saturn, okay? So it matters. Like, it's hard to project already. Now you involve the draft process. Now you involve roster construction. Now you involve, yes, the individual, the human being nature, the intelligence of it all. But this ain't college, guys. So if you say you don't like a pick, it's not because of factors that are easy to see. It's just how hard it is to project at the NFL level. We had, and I think people forget this, we had legitimate concerns about Nick Bolton, and he was a safe second-round pick.
Some of us still have legitimate concerns about Nick Bolton.
And the difference is here in Saturn. Playing in the NFL.
The thing with Nick Bolton, what's been so impressive about him is that, in my opinion, his pro tape is about as good as his college tape. And that's incredibly rare.
Yeah.
Like, and what I mean by that is that he looks about the same on a pro field as he does on a college field. That's incredible. It's so incredible. It makes my voice go up like 18, pitches,
Octaves,
which is great. Octaves. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I just went with Bassa. He was asked to do a number of things. He was asked to cover the middle of the field a ton. He looks really comfortable in zone defense. Also looks comfortable in man coverage against running backs and tight ends, carrying them up the seam. I will say against Penn State, he got worked over on some angle routes, including one for a touchdown, where I was like, Lord, just bad. And so I think he's got some over-aggressive tendencies for a guy who is got to be a cerebral guy. Now, that might be something that with different coaching is very easily coached out of him because he shows the wherewithal to do a bunch of things and he does them at a pretty high level. I'm not saying I hate the pick. I think I had maybe higher expectations in terms of watching a guy that they traded up to grab in the third round with a bunch of running backs on the board. That would be my take on it. I'm also a little confused as to fit because, that is just so unnecessary to put that comment up there.
It's just a good comment from Ben Wilkins, who said, no way Bassa is better at football than you are at not being as funny as Josh is to your own children.
That's child singular. That is only one kid that said that, Brisco, and you know that.
Seth, it's only one kid who said that to you.
Out loud.
Only one kid who has said that.
Yeah. So, oh man.
Hey, I'm not trying to make them watch the Chiefs for Christmas every year either. I mean, I just
that's it. They're taking their revenge on me. So I am a little confused as to role as well, because if they're bringing him on to do the things that he did at Oregon, that's Nick Bolton's snaps. And if I've learned anything about Spags over the last 3 years, is he is not bringing Nick Bolton off the field. He's not doing it. The guy that would be potentially, hey, sweetheart, how are you? Hey, Cole. Hey, welcome home. It's so good to see you guys. Hey, Cole.
Can you ask them to rank their 3 favorite holidays?
Hey, Isabel, will you come here for just a quick second?
No, I don't need.
Do you not?
No. Bring
Will you rank it's Josh and Nate?
Bring the nicest kid he has.
Come on over here. Will you tell Josh and Nate your 3 favorite holidays?
Christmas, my birthday, national holiday,
Yes,
and probably Easter.
probably Easter.
Look at that.
Isabel, would you like it if the Chiefs played every single one of those days, every single year?
Every year.
No.
Okay.
No. Would you think
Perfect.
that anyone who did want that was kind of a monster?
My dad thinks that, doesn't he?
She's great,
Yes.
Seth.
She's a sharp
great.
one. All right. I love
Isabel,
you,
thank
sweetheart.
you.
No
for
more
being the most-
questions, Your Honor.
No more questions.
Cole, do you want to do your 3 favorite holidays, or would you rather stay off camera?
Christmas.
We've got Christmas,
Of course, you said Christmas first.
Thanksgiving.
What if I told you?
Easter. You know what?
Oh, boy.
My
I thought-
my
I
religious
thought he
son
was
is
gonna say
correct.
Halloween.
Right,
And I was like,
thanks,
well,
guys.
they
I'll
might
be
play on all
Halloween. I love
three
you.
days.
It's crazy, Seth. You were the third best Kaiser on this episode.
I know. Well, that's only because yeah. Actually, Jazz walked by. The
No, and
door
Jazz
right
actually texted you back. So no, you're
Yeah.
fourth for you. Actually,
No,
hey, you're on the
it's
Mount
sad.
Rushmore.
there. So here's the interesting thing with Bassa to me is that, man, I love my kids so much. I haven't seen them in like 2.5 days. Otherwise, I wouldn't have maybe invited them on. But
They
been
pop way
gone
more
for-
than Jeffrey Bassa.
So
Pop off the screen.
So where I'm curious is the guy whose contract is starting to run out is Leo Chanel, and then you've got Drew Tranquil, and so my assumption is Bassa they're pegging him for the Tranquil role. I could see that. It's just he is undersized like Tranquil, and that
Can
makes
you
it
see him
it's
doing that? You're saying you can see that that's what they want him to do. What's the percentage chance of that?
I think he would just need to show a little more discipline. If he shows a little more discipline, I can see him doing the things that Tranquil does, except maybe hold up at the second level as well. Because Tranquil generally does a pretty good job getting around or through blockers at that second level when he gets reached. Bass is going to have to be better at that. But he does show some length. Like if he's being asked to set the edge, he'll actually come in hot, and you'd think he was bigger than what he is. So he's got some building block skill sets, and again, clearly a sharp guy, and he does tackle well. But he's man, everyone in the comments are distracting me right now, and so
If only you had control over that.
I know, and so
You do. You do. You can.
well, you know, so I'm curious about the vision here for this next year and beyond. I'm assuming he's going to be a special teamer guy this year, and then they're going to try to have him take Tranquil's role, and we'll see.
Okay, so the hierarchy is this player is good. I see the vision. I understand the vision. I think is your
It's
3-tier system.
I really like this player's film. I think this player's film was okay. I see the vision, and then the other one.
Okay. I want to do some of the linebacker room stuff as kind of our like last sort of float around topic for today. But Nate, what is your? I know that you're in like a totally weird space of additional fatherhood and all of this happening simultaneously.
Sure.
But before we even get to the rest of the room, do you think that is this a special team throw where you say maybe if we get lucky he could develop a little bit this way, or is this one of those players where the Chiefs find him later on? Because here's the dichotomy for me, I guess.
Right.
Your 4th round pick could be Dorian O'Daniel, who like has some of the tools and you kind of see the projection there and he never really makes an impact. Or it can be Jaden Hicks, where you're all of a sudden like immediately your team is talking internally like,
Yes, right.
kind of can't believe we got this guy.
Correct.
Kind of see what we want to do with him already. Kind of think he's going to be ahead of schedule. Like, and that's rare. That's the outlier. But do you have any feel on where they're at with Bassa?
I hate to do this, guys, but let's see him at training camp first and foremost. Okay, I want to give everybody the same even odds. Same with, and not technically the same because he's dealing with the rehab with Josh Simmons. Okay, if we exclude him, everybody else who we think is relatively healthy or going to be fully healthy by training camp, let's put them on an even playing field, no matter where they were picked. So you always want to start there. Let's see how he looks in pads against actual NFL players in training camp. With that said, the sooner he can excel with Dave Tobe, the sooner it will go well for him in his career.
Right.
Well, you definitely want to trade up in the third round.
That's
for
where I'm
a,
at. I mean, it's the 5th round, but it is a trade up.
Fifth round.
Like,
Dang it. I knew that too.
it is like,
Now, this comes to the percentages of we need snaps at a position. A guy that Dave Tobe, and I don't know if this has been talked about a ton, because again, 5th round draft pick, I understand, but a guy that Dave Tobe trusted and was durable and was a good contributor in a special teams role got hurt very late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Will we have that guy be a core 4 special teamer, or will this running back that Nate Taylor said he would riot over, is he going to play special team snaps? Core 4? Is he going to replace John Catherine? I'm just trying to help explain all these things, as much as I agree with Seth that they probably should have took a running back in the 5th round, because that seemed to be a nice hot spot for this particular draft class at that selection. But I understand, at least in year 1, the vision is be very good on special teams. You might get a shot or two if someone gets hurt, and let's see if you can develop over the course of a 4-year contract in a more traditional manner where we're not overloading you with stuff and you can actually learn Steve Spagnuolo's system over multiple years.
So let's talk about the state of the linebacker room then, because with Seth's underwhelming review of Bassa, not exactly filling us with the type of excitement that a Brashard Smith was bringing to the table, right? Noah Williams is joining a very good group. Brashard Smith is bringing an interesting skill set to a thinner group that now feels, I think to me at least, NFL ready. Not top 15 probably in the league, but like competent, somewhere near the middle-ish of the pack. And I threw that dart out there. Maybe that might be about right. We'll spend some time on that this offseason somewhere, I'm sure. But a lot of these guys, at least, like they're mostly kind of succession plan picks in a lot of ways, but the succession plan is right in front of you. The linebacker room is interesting. And Nate, we did a little bit of this right after you left on Thursday. I'm going to restate the part of it that I had kind of miscalculated until last week, which is that Drew Tranquil's cap hit this year's $8.5 million. With the season he had last year, that's not a great number. You liked his first year in Kansas City, and year 2, yeah. Next year, it's $1.5 million that you would free up. It would cost you to cut him, but his cap hit goes down to $7.5 million. Unlike your Juwan Taylors, your Mike Dana's, guys who have ballooning cap hits that you're definitely not going to pay at that number. If Tranquil has a little bit of a bounce back year of some sort, $7.5 million for your number 2 linebacker is not atrocious. It's worse when your number 1 linebacker is making $20 million instead of $4 million or whatever it was on his rookie deal. But he is still potentially in the picture. And again, in a way that I would say that Dana and Juwan Taylor aren't, with kind of dummy years at the end of that.
Yes.
Now, Nick Bolton's cap hit in 2026 is $19 million. So it'd be a $30 million-ish linebacker room, which is, again, hey, you know where I wouldn't have put some of that money, but $30 million linebacker room, if Tranquil's around, it's still going to be 25 something if they cut Tranquil. What do you think about that position group right now, Nate?
Well, ultimately what this tells me is that, and again, I'm kind of projecting out based on everything you said, which is totally correct. It puts Leo Chenal in a weird spot.
Yeah.
Even though I love Leo Chenal, even though I've grown to love Leo Chenal, and I think most Chiefs fans have as well, in terms of what his role is and what he can do for you in terms of versatility of the position, it gives themselves a chance to hedge with Leo, even though, again, I think Leo is a durable player, a very good player, a good player based on where you took him in the draft. Ultimately, what this tells you is that the cap is going to go up, and boy, it better go up in a hurry based on those cap numbers with one Nick Bolton and soon to come Trey Smith. But also, I get the sense too that if Jeffrey can be let's say good, not great, let's just say good, a good NFL player, then at least you have someone on a rookie contract that can continue to roll over the course of those cap numbers you just said. But it also informs me too that if Leo's in an, I won't say precarious situation, but if he's in an interesting situation, it also informs me from a scouting standpoint that they need to be looking at linebackers for next year's draft class as well. So they have to, I shouldn't say they have to, but they might actually take multiple swings at the position, not only in this year's draft, next year's draft as well. Because normally you would say you drafted the player, you develop the player, re-sign the player over the older veteran that you acquired via free agency, but who plays more snaps? And that in lies some of the conflict of those two philosophies, because I would probably project Tranquil to play more snaps than Leo Chenal this season, which technically means he's more valuable, even though technically he's not younger or cheaper.
That's another part of it here, Seth, where like the mix of guys is a little bit weird, and the roles that linebackers have in the modern NFL and Steve Spagnuolo's defense, like Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquil in the best of circumstances make sense as a duo, but Leo Chenal's kind of a, calling him a Swiss Army knife is not quite right, because that's like, well, he can do everything, and that's not really true.
Right.
He can do weird things really hard,
really well. Yeah,
really well. Like,
yeah.
He's a very useful player. I also don't want to call him a niche player, because that seems almost dismissive, but he's somewhere in that space. You've got a rookie with, okay college film and no existing NFL film. And then it's, Cam Jones, Jack Cochran, Cole Christensen, who wants to play special teams and get in the mix here. How do you feel about the group? Because upon further review, and again, your film review isn't out on the Chief of the North newsletter yet, so I haven't seen the clips you've used to come to this conclusion. But if the Bassa experience is a little less exciting, the linebacker room is one of the few groups on this team that I don't know that I feel great about, which is a bit of an indictment, I suppose, on how I feel about their biggest offseason move.
I knew he was going to say that.
I didn't know I was going to say that. I was like, well, now that I say this out loud, I don't feel great about the linebacking core, despite the fact that their favorite one's going to make $20 million next year.
Right.
I mean, I think their linebacking core is fine. I think so a lot depends on Tranquil. I liked his film from 23 and 22 and 21 better than his film in 24. Although one of those years, a couple of years prior to Kansas City, and then the year in Kansas City, his first one. I like that better. So a lot depends on that. I think they don't have any one, top 5 guy in the mix, which makes it tough. And then at times you're kind of niche. You kind of, you've got guys that are really good at some things, but maybe a little more limited in other things. Tranquil is the most versatile of the entire group. So that's why he becomes so important.
Right.
With Leo, it's tough because he's been asked to do certain things. And I'm curious whether he could do more than those certain things. The opinions on him vary so widely. Some people think that he's like a potential superstar. Some people think that he's relegated to the only role that he's got. I, in a non-shocking twist, find myself kind of on the fence with that, in that I could see him doing more than what Spags has him doing. He's a sharp player with excellent downhill and sideline to sideline speed. He just doesn't turn well. Doesn't have good change direction, which limits what you can do in the middle of the field.
Right.
Okay. But I think he plays the role he's in well. So maybe the Chiefs have a chance of keeping him if other teams say, well, this isn't a 90% of the snaps guy. This is a 50% of the snaps guy, but he does really well with those snaps. So for what they need from their linebackers, it's a decent room. It goes from decent to good depending on how Tranquil does. And that's where, and that's because they're kind of teetering on that ledge there, in my opinion. So I'm okay with it. I wish they had a little more juice in terms of operating in space. That's the biggest thing with Leo and with Nick Bolton. They don't operate really well in space, and that's come playoffs. It doesn't hurt them that consistently because teams are, running the ball a little more. You get a little more physical brand of football. And Spags loves dialing up the run defense come playoff time.
Right.
And that's where Leo and Nick are a great fit for that. So I get why they do what they do, but I also do agree that it's not an overwhelming unit. It's not one that I would call great. I think it's fine.
And it gets shaky as you start to look to the future. Because again, Tranquil seems like a little bit of a coin toss. And we're certainly not talking about them extending Leo before training camp. Like it feels like, correct me if I'm wrong real quick here, Nate, but it feels like they're going to let him play out this rookie deal. And then, hey, we'll talk to you next offseason, right?
Yeah, that's my understanding right now. I haven't heard anything differently. I can't see. Bob said it in the comments. I think Leo gets better over time. You should just remove think from that sentence. Leo has gotten better over the course of his contract year over year, statistically, via film, via responsibility. I mean, I just want to remind people they had Leo Chenal out here spying Lamar Jackson, and they got away with it. Mostly because he's just that good of an athlete, even though his position isn't. He doesn't fit his position as naturally as like most guys. So I'm fascinated with the usage of, hey, does Tranquil play better this upcoming season? Therefore, you might use him more, or is it similar or slightly, because like most of us as humans, we deteriorate slightly over time in terms of athleticism. Does that mean Leo Chenal gets more snaps because Leo Chenal actually got more snaps year over year last year than the year 2 years ago in 2022? So all these things sort of matter. But I do love the idea that, like, we know who Nick Bolton is. He has been paid. He is the only one with solid ground to work on. And this year is pivotal for both Tranquil and Chenal, but they both need to work together to both elevate their potential earnings on the market.
It's an interesting group. I'm glad we spent some time on it. I also think it's a good, perfectly fine to good group this year. But those pieces are kind of interesting fits, and it'll be curious to see how that comes together as we go forward. Seth has family who's just arrived back home after months away at sea, and he's only gonna. I think that's right. He's got to mend some fences vis-a-vis their Christmas plans, and I believe Nate has to go pick up one of his numerous children, which I can now say factually.
Crazy to say.
Two is numerous.
That's right.
That's right. Feels like a lot to me, and probably not like that many to Seth. Funny how perspective works that way. But like, some of us think Christmas is worthwhile and worth treasuring and protecting, and some of us just want to slap every NFL bumper sticker we on and just say, "Hey, baby, bring on capitalism. Screw the meaning of a holiday." And as I think we could have all guessed at the beginning of today's show, that was Seth's take. Let's get out of here, Nate. Go get your eldest child after you get us out of here.
Last thing, we are 2 games away from Pacers Knicks, and please, Lord, bring it to me. Bring it to me. Bring it to my soul. Hicks versus Knicks. They had a 1.8% chance. It's absolutely appalling, Adam Silver. Appalling, I tell you. Love you guys.
Seth, these are basketball things.
Keep watching the NBA. It's been a great postseason.
I thought it was like the water polo finals or something.